Hello everybody, failing this game here. I think this is my first true voiceover, or at least the first one in a very long time, so please excuse my incompetence. I think it's been since about March, off and on. Tyler CDL and I have been working on a new little project. A disclaimer, straight out of the way here. Well, this project, we're making it for ourselves and our friends who decide to give us feedback, so some of this stuff isn't exactly meant for the general public. As in like playability or ease of use. As of right now, our only intention is for this game to be PC only. Theoretically in the future it could be accessible by other devices, whether it's phone, console, or anything like that, but we have zero plans for that. And if it does, there is access to it on those platforms, there's no guarantee everything or much at all would work. It could just be you can only just watch the trains or stuff like that. But with that out of the way, second disclaimer is that this is a very early work in progress. We quite literally call this the tech demo. So everything is a work in progress, like literally everything's work in progress, whether it's sounds, scenery, features. As for suggestions, if you guys want to put suggestions in the comments, you can, but we've probably thought of everything. There's way more that we want to do. Whether Roblox will allow us to do it or not is to be determined. And there's just a lot. Both Tyler and I have lots to do working with actual jobs other than Roblox, so we're quite busy. And then well, I'm the only programmer here at Studio 311, so, and a lot of this is programming, so it's all me, so and which, no, we are not hiring, so there's no need to ask. Let's see, here we're watching in the background. I was just playing the game a little bit ago and decided to record it, so I've already picked up a big cut of cars. I'm going to pick up even more cars in a different yard here, which right now, actually, beginning last night and this morning, I started working on industry system stuff, which still doesn't really, it's definitely not functional at the moment, but it's getting closer, which we're very excited. In the past, ever since like Green Ash A&G days, or I think even, no, I don't think the original A&G had an industry system, did it? I don't think so. We're just going to say Green Ash, because Green Ash is probably the biggest name out there as far as nostalgia. Ever since then, and even up until the of SRI terminal, my industry systems have always done it where when the car spawns in, it tries to find an industry, and that, I don't know why I did that so many times, because that doesn't really make any sense. For those who are familiar with Railroader and how they have the interchange system where, you know, like a day starts kind of thing and then the cars spawn in, that's more or less the approach we're taking with this one, where cars will spawn, the industries themselves will request the cars. There won't be any of, I spawn this stuff in and it will gain an industry. No. The game will, the industries themselves will request cars. Here on another note, sorry for being off topic, I just noticed in the video in the background here, I just walked back into the middle of the train. That's because when I was running the train, I was rail fanning it, and I noticed that in the middle of the train there was lots of brake squealing, and I realized I forgot to drop the handbrake on one of the cars, which will actually happen later in the video yet again. Back on topic, industry. So the industries themselves will request, and honestly, no promises here, but I kind of want to have it like a day of the week kind of thing, so some industries will only be open certain days, blah blah blah, and a bunch of random crazy stuff that'll come down the line. So we have a lot of high hopes. We'll see how those go. We're taking things one step at a time. There's a lot of things in this. Almost everything in this actually is only like kind of halfway made, halfway tested. So it should be nice and good. The cars here So like all these cars are spawned, it almost looks like kind of blocks. So it's actually when I made the spawning system for the interchange before making any of the industry stuff or interchange data, so that, you know, because when I decide how to figure out what cars to spawn when and where, I need to have a thing to spawn them in. So I made that first. So I just have a complete randomizer that just spawns things at the at one end of the map, and then this yard here at this short line. As you might have noticed already, there is a fully functional air brake system on the trains. Now, this game will never be entirely accurate. This is Roblox, and nor am I a engineer. So, well, as like, you know, mechanical engineer, I don't even know what you want to call it. I'm not into that. Nor do I have any interest in doing that. This is already far more advanced than anything I've ever seen outside of Run 8 Train Simulator, which I honestly have no hopes in beating that in sake of simulation. If anyone that wants to know about slack action, Roblox physics is already a pain in the ass enough. So, you know, we're not overly concerned about slack action. Maybe we can... I have ideas, and I've tried it before, but it didn't work very well. Because, again, this is, for anyone who doesn't realize that this is row scale. The whole back end of all of this is true row scale. It's just modified. Like, if you go to row scale and get the starter kit out the toolbox, that's what this is. It's actually an older version. It's the same thing that is SRI Terminal. Quite literally what I did is copied it out of SRI Terminal and started working on it even more. So yes, this is true row scale. We are small, just like row scale. If you copy a train out of, if I were to insert into this game the starter kit, the trains would be the same size. We might have to change the glider sizes because of how our rails are. But other than that, the sizing and all that is true row scale. Our real life feet conversion to studs is feet times 0.127, which is just like any other row scale game. So yeah, then the back end, it's true row scale. It's kind of wild. I don't know why I do this to myself, but I do. So yeah, I guess I'll keep talking about what we're doing here. So yeah, I'm just picking up cars for the fun of it. That green car we're going to leave there, that green boxcar. That is actually the actual industry system that I started working on. That is a test interchange kind of thing. And going to an industry, so I have a test industry and everything. So that's the result of it working. So you can see that it did find an industry. An industry did request a car, a single car. Which I still haven't... Actually, that's the one I'm stuck on right now, is deciding how I want to make it, figure out how many cars to request. Because, of course, it has a max capacity, but I want to make it so it doesn't always request all the empty cars, and also make it so that it can request cars from multiple interchanges at the same time. There's a lot of different things to consider here. So I just want to take my time and try and get it right the first time as much as possible. I'm going to still have to come back and do a lot of edits and stuff, but... just, you know, as much as I can, I would like to get things as close to being right as possible the first go around, so I don't have to remake it over this case. We're going to pull out here past this switch, and we're going to stop. We're going to grab that other cut of cars. Just like this being a tech demo, the map is kind of like, we're not like even like thinking it's all freelance. It's just a map to support playing the game, because in order to test these things you have to play the game, and there's definitely been things that have come up, but you only find by actually truly playing the game, not just testing it, which that was a while ago. We had issues of, or I haven't noticed it in a while, but we haven't really had a true like group of friends playing the game to have it happen yet. Early on, if you backed, eventually the couplers would phase into each other. Like, even if they were already coupled, they would like phase in, like it would lag, and it was really weird. But the problem is how I had the couplers is even if you decouple them, you still couldn't get them out. The cars would stay stuck, phased into each other. So it was quite the predicament. I made a thing so if you uncouple the cars and they're phased into each other, they won't recouple. If the couplers aren't, like, you know, in real life they would only couple in. So I've made it check to make sure that the couplers are actually coming towards their front faces, so you can, you know, pull the car out of the car. And actually when doing that, I made it so that if the cars are at too tight of an angle, or like too broad of an angle, like from a rotation standpoint, they won't couple. And there was an industry over at the spawn location town. We had a car from studio spawned in too close to the curve. So then when our friend went to go hook up to it, the couplers were at too tight of an, like too wide of an angle, so they wouldn't latch. And actually, this was really cool. So he was trying to back into it with a reefer car. So those things are like, I can't remember how big ours are that we have modeled in the game, because there's different kinds. Let's just say 60, 70 feet long, and it wouldn't latch. So then we're like, oh, that's kind of cool. Well, at first we thought they were broken, and then I realized, oh, wait a minute, there's that minimum angle threshold that you have to make. So it's like, oh. I was like, wait a minute, I want to know, what if we pull the reefer out, spot the cars you had on the train on the track, like the main part of the spur that serves the industrial park, decouple the locomotive from it, back up, and then take the locomotive in and grab the cars. And it worked, because right now we only have Jeeps in the game, so they're shorter. And it worked, and I was so happy, even though it was an accidental thing. I was so happy, like, this is cool, because in real life, you can't. Well, in real life you can move the coupler itself, but of course in the game, well, you can only move it so much. So if you had a long car on a tight curve, you might necessarily not even be able to couple there. So I was pretty happy that an accidental find. Oh, maybe you've noticed the clouds. There is it's a very basic. It is stupid basic. Kind of weather system. When I say weather system, it literally just changes the cloud density randomly. Right here I just tested, because this is something I've been fighting with for the past 2 months, or 3 months, basically ever since I've done the air brake system. This is the emergency application here. And there's a bunch of rates, and you just saw me shake my head, because with the rates, sometimes I don't want the false activations of emergency applications happening. But, and then there's sometimes when I'm doing the values and all that it works when it triggers emergencies when it's supposed to, except for when you release the emergency. I have yet to add the PCS valve, so I'll probably be able to do a little bit of behind-the-scenes finicky stuff to make it not happen. But sometimes it will start recharging the train, and then it will dump again, and it'll get like in a loop. Luckily this time, it recovered itself. So we are okay on here. So we've got the train here, and we got the EOT on. Eventually we're going to have an HOTD display. I think I might end up redoing that entire UI, because it's a little busy there. There's a lot of things to consider and figure out, but so you can see your rear end of train pressure, you can dump it, and we kind of want to, at some point I haven't yet to try this, I would like to make the EOTs a tool, so you have to physically pick them up from a yard. And you can have them in your inventory kind of thing, but you have to physically go and walk them, hook them on, and then the locomotive you have to you have to set the ID just like you do in real life. There's an ID, and you have to set the head end telemetry to connect to that particular EOT. Then we want EOT fit, like communication failures. EOTs can break. We want maintenance on both locomotives. And there's a whole list. We want everything and anything in some capacity. Just again, it's just basically 2 of us, and we're both working a lot, so only so much gets done at a time, so it's, just take your pace. Here we're going to pull out of the yard. We're basically good to go. And if you guys want to, for any railroaders out there, you can do brake tests. The only thing is that you can't actually see the brake cylinders or anything on the models. There is a debug tag. It might change how you view it, but there's a debug tag in the game that you can see. You can enable and disable. You can look on top of the cars and see all the brake pressures and all that. So you can technically, if you use the debug, you can do an actual Class 1 brake test if you would like to. Except for the fact that right now you can't dump the EOT. You can't trigger an emergency application from the EOT at the moment. Who notice here, I forgot to release that handbrake on not that car. Like the air brake debug will tell you what handbrakes are on. I need to redo the handbrake models. There's some bugs with them. I need some sounds. And I would love a way to make it so you could tell that a handbrake's on without actually looking at the debug UI, because in real life, at least with a lot of the cars, you can see the handbrake chain is taut and like the brake cylinder's pulled out. So it's a lot easier to tell if a handbrake's on. but we don't have any of that modeled, so it's kind of hard. We're gonna let this train clear up, and I'm gonna put this derail back on here, which the derails do and don't work. They don't actually derail the trains. I don't want to purposely derail the trains until I figure out a way that's cool and all that and reliable to re-rail the trains. So right now it's basically like an invisible stopper. It's like the trains, and you can actually overshoot it if you go hit it hard enough. It will like lurch, and then the train will go and run it over because it has enough power to run over. It's a really small block, so it can kind of force its way through, which I think is cool. So it'll stop a train going slow. Train so long, we'll just use a teleport. You can hear the air spitters going from the air dryers and stuff. I just added it just before playing this, so they're a little loud. I need to turn them down a bit. But yeah, so we're gonna, as you can see, there's not much scenery here. We're gonna head back in the to the spawn area, just to show you guys some actual running of the train. And then when we get down there, I'm actually going to throw it into emergency so you guys can hear the bang. One thing is that for some reason I have yet to figure fully out, when you throw it in emergency with a big cut of cars, it lags for a second, and I haven't fully figured it out yet. I have an idea of what it is, or it really lags, especially if you decouple the cars, but that's because it's got it applies body forces to the cars to try and slow them down. It doesn't work very well, so I need to, again, work in progress. There's only work on certain things at a certain times, because otherwise I'll get burnt out. Yeah, as you can hear, the air spitter show. Ooh, might be way too loud. Not way too loud. They need to be turned down a little bit, and then technically those cameras are placed outside the cab, so we want to figure out a way to make it like muffled. And I personally would like to do cab interiors. Tyler's not so keen on that as the modeler, but we might have to do a UI like overlay kind of thing. Either way, we kind of like how it is right now. Honestly, this game really truly shines at nighttime, but unfortunately in this video I do not show that off. That'll be for another time. We've got step lights, ground lights, walkway lights. We got beams from the headlights. I'm sure you guys have seen, if you guys are in Studio 311 Discord, you've probably seen sneak peeks, some of the cool shots at night. It's really fun to run this game at night. I think half the time when we're playing this game is at night anyways. We're like, we love night. Another thing we did with the weather, I have yet to add rain, but I did add lightning and thunder. It was actually something that was supposed to be an SRI terminal, but I never got around to completing it to a, at least, well, I don't think I've ever completed anything, but, I completed enough to actually use it, but, one day I was bored, and I didn't really want to work on anything else, and I was like, you know what, lightning. I think it was storming outside in real life at the time. So I went in, I was like, huh, and I thought I had to scale it down, because I ripped it from a free model or whatever forever ago. It was like a lightning summoning thing. And it looked really cool because it's got like random like lightning paths and stuff. And I was like, well, I have to scale it down because of course we're using row scale, not, you know, normal size. So you have to scale everything down when you use free stuff. And I went in, like, I guess I'll try and figure out how to scale it down. I went in and it was already scaled down, and I was very excited. So I went in and basically added some thunder sounds, which I had already pulled. I just got a few more. Did some coding and all that. And so actually the thunder sounds is delayed by how far away your camera is from the lightning strike itself. It's kind of cool. We really do like it, other than the fact it's kind of weird without the rain. But I'll get around to doing that at some point. If for those who are familiar with SRI Terminal, it's just like that. You'll be able to drive around everywhere. And oh yes, anyone in SRI Terminal will know it. The horn stopping bug. I still have yet to figure out how to fix it. If you listen clearly here, you can hear the ambient sounds. We love that. You hear some water. Some of the industries will make sounds. And we actually have it set up so that right now the industries aren't necessarily open and closed yet, but at night the industries will not emit any sound because in theory they're closed, which I really do like. It just adds so much to the game. Like at night we have some like cricket sounds and stuff, and you can probably hear the birds. Excuse me. The birds in the background here. Here we'll do a little bit of rail fanning here, and then you'll see me grab the automatic brake on the controller and dump it. The rolling stock sounds here is really hit or miss in my opinion. That's one thing I really want to improve. The brake sounds, we have multiple different brake sound, like brake squeals. Those need to be tuned because they never were tuned. We just kind of added a randomizer and so they're kind of all over the place. It's kind of funny. I was like, do a demo video, and I remember now I was thinking, like, I never showed you guys splitting from cars, but you know, always next time. Here we go. We'll dump it here. Oh wow, okay, in the recording it's not as obvious as the lag spike. When I was actually playing, there was definitely a noticeable jolt. Unfortunately, I decided to teleport away. I think it's because I thought the train was further away, but it is really cool to listen to the train squeal really loud, and then as it stops, it, you know, goes silent. Yeah, that's more or less it for now. We'll go up here and, listen to the air spitters and, like, you know, just the engine idles here. And that's what I decided to do here. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. It's probably going to be a while before the next time we talk about the game. I hope you guys enjoy whatever Nathan's working on, because I know he keeps doing stuff for us. Our terminal, I know some people still try and play. Well, see y'all next time. Bye!